On this video I'll be talking about timing chain. I did more than one video about timing chain, but this one is different. I'll go deeper and I'll answer as many questions as possible that people post on the social media about timing chain. I hope you enjoy this video. This car here is a Mercedes A150 and this little play is actually not little play, this is too much because it's causing a lot of problems. The customer replaced the hydraulic tensioner and he's saying that the noise has gone away, the rattle disappeared for a short while and then it started coming back again. Now I will explain to you what's happening, why the chain was rattling to begin with, why the noise stopped when he replaced the tensioner, and why it came back again. Now first of all, when you start the engine you can hear the rattle for a short while from the chain and then it disappears. That's because of this little play here. Now remember, this little play is per one link, like here to here. It shouldn't have any play here. Let's have a look at the timing chain out. Here I have two timing chains, identical, but one of them is new, the other one is old. You can see the old one is about 10 millimeter longer. So what does that mean? Now the chain comes like this in a loop. It's cheaper actually, but you can buy them open. I actually broke one of the links to make it like that, and then yeah, this is the link that I removed, and then I'm gonna fit this. That makes life easier because I don't want to dismantle the whole engine. Also, this is what the hydraulic tensioner looks like. Let's go back to the engine. Right, I don't know if you can see the timing mark here. It's here exactly. Anyway, I adjusted it on the TDC. Let's focus. Yeah, it's there. It's faint, but it's there. This is the TDC. So the cylinder number 1 is on top dead center. What happens when the timing chain is stretched? It actually altered the timing. So though that the camshaft is on the TDC, but the crankshaft isn't. Let's have a look. It's going to be a bit tricky to see it, but you'll see it. Now, to see the mark on the crankshaft pulley is a bit tricky. You can either use a tiny camera like a snake with a side lens, or you can use a mirror like this one here, which I've been using this mirror for many years and I'm very happy with it. Right, let's see. Okay, now I can see the letters there. It should say OT, and should be aligned with the mark. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the OT and should be aligned with this mark there, but it isn't actually. It's not exactly aligned on it. let's see the same thing on an engine that I have on a hoist. Hold on. This engine is identical to the one in the car, and you can see the timing mark here. Top dead center is the OT, and it should be aligned with this mark that I painted here to make it clear. And the same thing on the camshaft, it should be aligned. Right, let's go back to the car. Now, before going any further, many people ask me, what's the regular interval for replacing the timing chain? Oh, my car has done so many thousand miles, shall I replace the timing chain or not? The answer to that, there's no straightforward answer to that, because there's a direct relation between the health of the timing chain and the breather system in the car. So what does that mean? Let's have a look. The breather system in this engine is actually to make the top of the engine breathe with the crankcase, the bottom of the engine there. There isn't any outside pipe or anything to link them together. It's all internal. I think it's there, this here where my finger is, or maybe I don't know. It's inside the engine. Unlike the older model, had the pipe outside, and it gave so many problems. Also, all the work is on the rocker cover. The breather itself is built in within the rocker cover. Let's have a look at it. This is the rocker cover. And this is the breather. This is the breather itself. It's built in within the cover. And there's a pipe here, and there's another pipe there. And what happens, the filler neck, let's have a look at the filler neck. If you see this gunge here, now many people mistake that for something else like oil and water mixing or head gasket or something, but in fact the engine is struggling to breathe through the breather, and it's breathing through the cap, it's breathing also through the dipstick and the breather pipe, which is on this side of the engine by the air filter. So the engine is trying to breathe from anywhere near the air, where there's air. So obviously air can come in through here, can come in through the filler neck or the pipe by the throttle body. Now that doesn't mean that the gunge is actually inside the engine. No, it's only by the neck where the air is. As you can see, the problem is only here. It doesn't get any further. The rest of the pipe is clean. There's no gunge. Also, there's a question here that I need to ask. A low mileage engine, does it mean a better engine? The answer is not necessarily. Low mileage means short journeys, more start-stop. The oil doesn't get hot enough, and the result is this gunge that you see in the filler neck. So the gunge itself is no problem, but you need to clean it. To clean it is not a big deal. Just put, while the cap is out of the car, just blow it with compressed air to clear the breather, and that's it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to replace anything, but I don't advise to do it while it's in the car, because all this rubbish is going into the engine. Right, one other thing. See this pipe here, I talked about this pipe in previous videos, and I'll talk about it even more and more as many times as I feel like, because this is causing some problems with the water dripping here and ends up on the starter motor. The thermostat, and I think the bolt in the back, they start rusting and it's difficult to remove. The same thing that happened here, I think it was this bolt here, I think it was seized, but luckily it didn't break. It was rusty. I don't know where I kept it. It was rusty anyway. And not only that, let me show you the inlet manifold. This, where the water was dripping. See how the inlet manifold looks like. Can you see what happened here? That bolt where the water was dripping on the sleeve inside the inlet manifold, it got rusty and expanded, and it cracked the actual housing, but it didn't affect the manifold itself as function. It does function perfectly. I wouldn't say it's a bad design. Any car that you drive, when it gets to this age, will have problems like that, but this is not too bad. Just be careful when undoing the bolts that you don't shear off any of them in the head, because if you break one, it's not the end of the world. They do break sometime. Now, to adjust the TDC, obviously it's easier if you remove the spark plugs, but I didn't bother because, you know, I've done it so many times. Now, this engine, I worked on hundreds and if not thousands of these engines, and no surprise, I've seen it all. When I say something, I know not only that I've seen it, now I will see it again. Now, from the comments in previous videos, I found that some people don't agree with me when I say that if you get rattle when you start the engine, replace the timing chain and replace the tensioner. So some people disagree and they say no, replacing the tensioner only resolve the problem. But they never came back to say that the problem came back. But this customer was kind enough to say yes, the problem came back. Now, why does it come back, and what's actually happening? If you see this, the plunger there, yeah, how much out it came. Here, this is an old one. When you buy them, sometimes it doesn't come with the cap. Just remove the cap from the old one and put it on the new one with a new primer. See, this plunger here has come out so much, and this is actually like a shock absorber. So it's got a spring, and also it has the hydraulic tensioner itself. If you can see what's happening when I push it down, it's biting. And this is the problem. That after, so let's say with a healthy engine, it comes out about this much, yeah, and then when the timing chain stretches, it comes out a little bit. See, it's stuck. This is actually what's happened, that it got stuck. It comes out and it stays out at a certain position. So you have two problems, the tensioner and the chain. So by replacing the tensioner only, it starts going in and out nicely, but it doesn't resolve the stretched chain. And this is what actually happens when you replace the tensioner by itself. The noise goes down, but starts coming back again because of the chain itself. Now, there's so much I can say, but I hope that I covered some important points that you need to know about the timing chain. So there's no fixed interval for replacing the timing chain, but it's mainly because of this that gunge is actually, when you open the cap, you see droplets of water. That water ends up on the chain, and kills it quicker. It's condensation. You don't want condensation. Best thing is if you start the engine, you have to let it run until it gets hot, because on the long run it will kill the timing chain prematurely, and you don't want that. I hope I covered everything. Well, anyway, but I'm sure I'll make more videos about timing chain and other things, and I hope you enjoyed this one. See you soon.